In 1982, American criminologists James Q. Wilson and George L. Kelling put forward the broken windows theory. If a window in a building gets broken and isn't fixed right away, before long, other windows will also be maliciously smashed. Even the entire building might become a target for graffiti and theft. This theory doesn't suggest human nature is inherently evil. Instead, it reveals a social pattern. Disorder breeds more disorder. When minor chaos is allowed to slide, it triggers bigger breakdowns like a line of dominoes falling. Decades of social governance and corporate management practices in the West have proven just how damaging this effect can be, and they've made one thing clear: ignoring that first broken window is often the start of a much bigger crisis. New York City's subway cycle of chaos is the classic real-life example of the broken windows theory. Back in the 1970s, NYC's subways were an absolute urban nightmare. The inside walls of train cars were completely covered in graffiti. You couldn't spot a single bare patch. Trash and syringes littered the seats. And dozens of robberies and sexual harassment incidents happened every day. At first, transit management wrote these off as products of the broader environment. They focused on sending more cops to crack down on violent crimes, but turned a blind eye to minor stuff like graffiti and fare evasion. But here's the thing: when passengers saw graffiti on windows sitting uncleaned for weeks, they'd think, no one's in charge here. People started tossing trash casually, copying others by carving on car walls, and even figuring, I won't get caught if I skip paying for a ticket. By 1980, 30% of subway riders were evading fares, and data showed fare evaders were 7 times more likely to later commit theft or robbery than people who paid regularly. That changed in 1994, when the new subway chief, Rudy Giuliani, switched tactics. First, he set up a 200-person team solely to clean graffiti, mandating every train be spick and span again within 24 hours. Then he sent more plainclothes cops to catch fare evaders. Even if someone skipped a $1.25 ticket, their ID got logged, no exceptions. In just 3 years, subway crime dropped by 75%. Once the broken windows in the trains were fixed one by one, that former magnet for chaos turned into a safe, orderly public space. This case says it all. In Western societies, minor disorder is never an isolated incident. It sends a message to everyone that rules don't matter. Fixing that first broken window? That's how you stop the chaos in its tracks. It's not just social governance. Western corporate management is full of broken window traps too. In 2018, Tesla's Fremont factory saw a massive employee protest. The workers weren't fighting for higher pay, they were angry about safety hazards being ignored. At first, the issues were tiny: a loose safety railing on one production line that didn't get fixed, strange machine noises employees reported, which maintenance sat on for a week, even expired fire extinguishers in a workshop corner that got reported but went nowhere. These small cracks got bigger fast. Some workers thought safety rules are just for show and started operating machines illegally. Others stopped reporting problems altogether when they saw hazards get brushed off. It wasn't until late 2017, when a worker got hurt after a machine's guardrail broke, that everyone's frustration finally boiled over. A post-incident investigation found that in the 6 months before the accident, the factory had gotten 173 safety hazard reports, but only 12 were addressed. And it's not just Tesla. Amazon's 2020 overwork crisis at its U.S. warehouses also started with letting small violations slide. At first, it was just asking employees to work an extra half-hour here and there without pay. Then that turned into mandatory 2-hour overtime shifts. At first, managers ignored complaints about not enough break time. Later, workers were passing out next to shelves from exhaustion. The lesson from these companies? In Western workplaces, where employee rights are a big deal, compromising on small violations or oversights is like letting a window stay broken. It only gets worse. Employees lose trust in the rules, the company's reputation tanks, and eventually, you're stuck with a crisis you can't fix. Some might ask, Western societies have solid laws and regulations. Why can't they stop the broken windows theory? The scary part is, the theory preys on two things: the mindset that the law won't punish a crowd, and the gray areas in even the best systems. Take Paris street camping problem in 2022. A few homeless people set up tents in central Paris. The local government thought, it's just a small group, no big deal, and didn't hurry to make a shelter plan. But in 3 months, those few tents turned into over 200. The streets around them were covered in trash and sewage, and drug deals started happening. When the government finally tried to clear them out, it sparked outrage. People said they were violating homeless people's rights. That's the cost of ignoring the first broken window. Small problems left unfixed either get too big to handle, or they drag you into a no-win situation because they're now tied to group interests. Compare that to Berlin in 2021. When they saw a similar homeless camping issue, the government started building temporary shelters the same day. They also teamed up with nonprofits to help homeless people find jobs. They stopped the broken window from spreading and kept things fair. The takeaway? To fight the broken windows theory, Western societies' institutional advantages need to pair with quick action. Without that, even the best rules get chipped away by small lapses into disorder. Today, as the West deals with urban decline and corporate trust crises, talking about the broken windows theory matters more than ever. It's a reminder, whether it's graffiti in NYC subways or safety risks at Tesla, those no big deal, small problems are like barometers. They tell you how healthy a society or a company really is. Fixing the first broken window isn't making a mountain out of a molehill. It's smart. It lets you stop the biggest risks with the smallest effort. As Kelling put it in later research, maintaining order isn't about limiting freedom. It's about letting everyone enjoy freedom in a place that works. When we say no to the first tag on a street wall, when we say fix it to the first safety hazard at work, we're building a wall against chaos. After all, every big breakdown starts with looking the other way when that first window breaks.